Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest.
Right there.
Ma'am,
Release the accredited journalist now!
From the convention floor.
Violating my constitutional right.
sidewalk now.
Sir, I want to talk to you.
Arrest him.
Do not arrest me.
Go right there. He's under arrest. Stay right there. Back up, back up.
Well, on Monday, I was on the floor of the convention around 4 o'clock interviewing delegates. It was the first day of the convention. It was Labor Day. And be careful. And I got a call that from a producer that our two other producers, Shrufo Ducadus and Nicole Salazar, were being arrested at Jackson 7th in St. Paul. I tore out of the convention center by foot and ran with our cameraman, Rick Rowley of Big Noise Films, to the parking lot that was sealed off by riot police. I came up to the police line. The whole area was contained. I ran up, all my credentials flying around my neck because I just come from the convention floor. You get special credentials, sort of security credentials.
Right.
Be careful. And be careful, okay?
Right.
And I said, I'm a accredited journalist, Amy Goodman, Democracy Now!, and I want to speak to your commanding officer. 2 of our journalists are inside. Could you please release them? And within a second, they pulled me through the line. And they forcibly twisted my arms behind my back. They handcuffed me with these rigid plastic handcuffs that dig into your wrist. They pushed me against the wall, pushed me down on the ground. I demanded to see our reporters. I heard that they had been hurt. That Nicole had a bloody nose, that Sharif had been hurt as well. I saw Sharif across the way, handcuffed, arm bloody. I demanded to be brought to him. I was. I kept protesting that we were journalists. We should not be under arrest. And then I was arrested by Minneapolis police in St. Paul, and then Secret Service came over and ripped the credentials from my neck. I demanded a receipt for my property, and they refused.
All right.
And then I was put in the police wagon, and there was Nicole. Nicole had been pushed to the ground, police yelling, "On your face," face on the ground. And they put their knee or boot on her back and were pulling her leg. And she recorded her own violent arrest because she was filming. And she was shouting, "Press, press," showing her press pass. And they violently arrested her anyway. Sharif had been then thrown up against the wall, kicked in the chest and the back. Pushed onto the ground, and that's why his arm was bleeding and her face was bloody.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, I was charged with misdemeanor, and they face PC riot, which is probable cause riot.
Came to the park next to the river. There's a hip-hop show going on.
big hip-hop names, Mos Def and Atmosphere were all playing across the river. And so it was a really mixed crowd. You know, there's kids going to the concert, college kids, families, delegates, security, police, you know, just a wide array of people there for a whole different reasons. And we heard reports of tear gas being used down the street. And there's people running up kind of, oh my gosh, we're being tear gassed, concussion grenades, what's going on? And I was filming, you know, and I wanted to be there to document it. And so I kind of ran up, and I see kids, you know, they got snot coming out of their nose, and they're crying, and, you know, there's kind of a little bit of chaos, but you know, all the demonstrators were being peaceful. But at this point, the police were just basically forming a big line. They had police on cavalry, they had police on bicycles, and then they had the regular riot cops who were reinforced by National Guard, all in gas masks, all in full riot gear. The police steadily started moving in towards the park. Okay. And we're filming, and CNN's filming, and you can see big media with their helmets and their gas masks behind the police lines. And, you know, the concert's right across the river, you know, and everyone was just kind of hanging out, mellowing out. And the police slowly started to move down the street and create a line. Other than just people being upset about not being able to get to work or not being able to get to the show, there was no sort of protester confronting the police other than, you know, verbally. And so, but they slowly started to surround us. And I think everyone stayed calm up to a point because, you know, we knew that we hadn't done anything wrong. No one was really even holding signs. No one was really even demonstrating. We were all just hanging out. And then just basically out of nowhere, the police tightened in, and everyone's kind of getting nervous at this point. And they get on the bullhorn and they say, "Ladies and gentlemen, you're all under arrest."
Ladies and gentlemen, you're under arrest. Are you serious? Please be seated. Place your hands on top of your head and cooperate.
I'm seeing families and, like, you know, kids with University of Minnesota shirts, and, like, you know, kids are bobbing their head to hip hop, like, what, are you kidding me? And at that point, no one really believed it. You know, like, no, okay, yeah, we're under arrest. But then as they started slowly moving in, it became real clear that this was a mass arrest and that they were going to arrest people without any probable cause, without witnessing any sort of crime other than hanging out in a park.
So we have unlawful search and seizure. We have unlawful arrest without probable cause. That a related form of unlawful arrest is mass arrest and detention without probable cause. In other words, surrounding an entire group of people in which you allege there are individuals who have engaged in unlawful conduct, but just arresting everybody. So in this case, journalists, bystanders, people that just got trapped inside the police line. That's another form of unlawful arrest without probable cause. And then you have excessive force. To me, spraying people point-blank range with mace who aren't resisting and who are peaceful is excessive force. Beating people in jail is excessive force. Hitting people in the back of the head, kneeing people in the process of handcuffing and arresting people who aren't resisting is excessive force. Those all should be criminal complaints. They'll never be charged as such by any prosecutor, and they'll never, be charged. Police will never be charged. At the very least, they're violations of civil law and constitutional standards about the right of citizens to be free of being subjected to excessive force.
Somebody asked, are we being detained or are we being held or are we being arrested? And one of the bike cops with the mask on just said, "Get back!" He wouldn't answer us. And they said that they didn't know. They were just following the commands of someone else.
One of the officers said, "Sergeant Stryker pointed to a woman and told me to arrest her," so I did.
They very slowly worked their way through the entire crowd and arrested just about everyone.
They finally did come in and arrest all 200 or 300 of us. A lot of us, including myself, were booked in on felony charges, felony rioting. And this is like, I haven't broken a window. I haven't smashed anything. I haven't destroyed any property. I haven't done anything. But now, felony rioting.
When they were doing